yeah, heck yeah.
Hey there, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Good morning, crypto friends. How we doing? It's Friday. Happy Friday out there. We are live having a look at consolidation station. So what we're doing right now is also known as accumulation. And after a big drop like we had, it's very common to have this consolidation going on while people start to accumulate their coins. So great time to buy. This is not financial advice. While everything's still on sale. So let's have a look at BTC/USD. And we're looking here. Excuse me one sec. At support 38,131.55 and resistance at the 42,686. Still trying to get above that 26-day moving average. We managed to get above the 12-day, so we'll be watching that, and I'll kind of mention that along the way. Let's have a look over to Ethereum. Starting to hear a lot of folks are loading the bus up with Ethereum, so keep that in mind as we look down at support. Unchanged. This is from last night, so all these I haven't changed them yet. So still have support 2579.96 and resistance 3010.38, and still trying to close above that 12-day moving average on ETH/USD. Looking here at BNB/USD down 3.56%. Holding that support level we had from last night, 366.941. And resistance up there, we set a new one. Couldn't get past on this little doji candle there at 400.477. Moving on to ADA/USD. We save that, there we go. ADA/USD still have support at the 1.670 and new resistance as we tighten the range 1.821. Stop loss up tighter and tighter just beneath this previous low right over here. And let's move on to PolkaDot. DOT/USD down 3.90. Still remain unchanged. We do have a slightly higher support level that we set, so we got a higher low. What does that mean? That is a good sign. So support 27.547 and still have the same resistance coming through. And we'll drop that down just a little tiny bit at 29.706. We'll move on to Doge. Let's see how the Doge is holding up here. Doge still remaining support 0.3726. And new resistance level couldn't get through the 0.4136. So we kind of had some light trading going on. We usually get from the Asian market some heavy trading. Kind of looks a little light, so we'll keep that in mind. People are in wait and see mode. Let's just wait and see what happens. Moving on to LTC/USD. Very tight range here. We have support at the 198.08 and resistance at the 218.95. So basically unchanged. And we'll move on to LINK/USD. Tried to poke through that support, but we've held up so far. So 28.539 is your support level. We did manage to not get through. As you can see, we're struggling with this 12-day moving average. It's kind of just pushing us down. We need some volume and some follow through to get through there. And on these tightening ranges, that's usually what happens. Either we're going to fall down further or have a go, have a nice run. So resistance 31.177 for LINK/USD. We'll move on to Stellar XLM/USD. Stellar lost a little bit of support, so we'll adjust that down to 0.4686. And same goes with resistance down to the 0.502 for stellar. Moving on to Vechain, VET-USD. All right, we have regular support is held. So 0.119 still holding and starting to wiggle down beneath these averages at resistance 1.1350. Get that decimal in there where it belongs. Moving the stop loss up and moving on to FILUSD. FILUSD, we have support still at the 83.09 and resistance at the, jump over here where I can grab that, 90.488 for Phil. And we'll move on now to STORJ, up 4.39%. So we set a new higher low, so we got a new resistance level all the way up to 1.4835, and then we've got support to lean into right there at the 1.22 and moving the stop loss up. So this one's looking a little stronger than the other was. It's the early riser, and we are going red to green as we speak. I'm starting to see a lot of these names for the today's percentages. So let's move on to IOTA, Internet of Things. New support level 0.12707 and resistance 1.4148. Very tight range, so be on your toes here. We're going to look for an explosion coming up one way or the other. Moving on to comp, COMP USD. Comp got itself up there to 586.94, so we have a new resistance level and new support there on top of the 12-day moving average at the 542.83, and it is starting to curl upwards here in comp, so we'll be keeping a close eye on COMP today. Moving on to BAT, Basic Attention Coin. New support above the 12-day. We'll grab that, stick it up there where it belongs. There we go. Slightly higher on resistance. Just watching that double top, but we are on top of the 12-day moving average. Support 0.8547 and resistance 0.9244. Moving on to ETC USD, down 4.13% for the day. On top of that 12-day moving average, due support 69.346. New resistance underneath the 26-day at 77.026. And getting those stop losses in there tight for the way up. Moving on to MANA, MANA USD. Let's see, MANA new support level 0.887353. New resistance underneath the 26-day moving average, basically $1. $1 psychological for MANA. Moving on to ZIL, ZIL USD. And new support 0.1310. Slightly adjusting the resistance to 0.14626. Very tight range as well, and volume is increasing on this particular name. Let's move on to NUUSD, down 3.9%. Somebody had a run at it on the previous candle. Don't know if that's just a bad tick or what, but we do have new support level for you, 0.3293, and we'll tighten that one up with resistance. We did manage to get up through the 26 days, so we're at 0.35072. So big heavy volume on this candle here, which was around midnight this morning. UTC 4. Moving on to NMR USD. Lost a little ground here, so we're moving support down to 45.221 and resistance remains at 51.125. And let's move on to GRT, graph token. GRT USD, pretty much unchanged on the support. So that's at 0.8442, and then resistance we did fail to get through and close above that 12-day on this particular name. So that's going to be 0.9530 for your resistance. Moving on to USD. We can leave support where it stands, 24.485, pretty much unchanged. Trying to get above that 12-day, just like the story goes all day long. And resistance now down to 27.33, so tightening range here as we're getting squeezed. Let's move on to USD. I'm sorry, AVA. AVE. Let's try that one more time. AAVE USD. There we go. Goodness gracious. We're doing this live without no parachute, so bear with me here, folks. 439.160 is your support level. And resistance down. We've lost some ground here. 470.571 for AAVE USD. So bleeding out a little bit, very lightly traded. So we're still keeping an eye out for that one. MKR USD down 3.38% for the day. So we lost that support. So we have a new support level at 3769.211. And we'll have a new resistance level for you at the 4019.12. So yeah, trying to get that above that 12 days. Pretty much the story all along here. MATIC, a new one to the watch list, lost some ground as well. So we'll move that down and then look for support down at the, we have some support of the previous price history, 1.605, and resistance going to be quite a bit of it right there to 1.77 for MATIC. Moving on to audio, these NFTs kind of went asleep, taking a nap, resting up. So support still at the 1.347, resistance still at the 1.508. Audio. Moving on to CHZ USD, up 4.13% for the day. So that means we can adjust some resistance and support. Yeah, we did manage to close above the 12-day. So we're 0.303 support, 0.33912 is your resistance. Tightening range, inside bars, looking for that explosion. Moving on to Theta, THETA USD. And we'll mention usually while Bitcoin's going sideways, altcoins will start to move. So we're looking at support down at the 6.8759 and resistance, new levels down there at the 7.422. So still in the trade zone. If you didn't get in before, they're still hitting these buy targets. So let's move on to ENJB USD, I should say. This is on Binance. And let's see, anything changed? Pretty much unchanged. 1.353 is your support. Resistance came down a little bit to 1.512. So very tight range on these names. Moving on to ONE USD, Harmony One. Down 3.5% roughly. And 0.1147 is your new support. New resistance, 0.1294. So expect these trending downward averages are going to keep pushing them down until we can get some volume. We are trailing off in volume in most of these names. And that's the story for the day. We'll check in with BTC.D. Bitcoin dominance is up 1.85%, so we're up to 44.15% of the crypto market cap. That's good to see. We'll move on to ETH.D. This is Ethereum dominance. I've added this one now. We'll start tracking that 18.04, slightly down 1.75%, and then your total crypto market cap is 1,300,000,000 744 billion, roughly unchanged from last night. And then we'd have two new ones. We're looking at EMAX. We're watching that one for some pricing to come available here on TradingView. Up 19.95%. And then your Kishu, KISHU, up 47.37%. And we'll see from the bottom, it is up quite a bit. Yeah. I don't know if that's percent or what, 7,075.98. Anywho, that wraps it up for me, folks. I hope you're having a great day out there. We'll see you tonight at the Crypto Happy Hour. Have a good one. See you then.